Hey folks, Debbie Ray here with another plant tale video. This week I'm talking about African violets. That's a very common house plant. My mom had several of these lined up along the windowsills of our front room where I grew up in Chicago. I don't remember hers reblooming though. My brother always called them leaves. They do rebloom. I will show you that in a minute, but first I want to show you this. I have a couple of these special pots that are made for African violets, and this is why. They have an insert with a porous bottom so that I can pour water into the container below, and it soaks in through this porous bottom and waters the plant. No water gets onto the leaves of the African violet, which is great. They don't like to get wet. And an easy way to water them and keep them looking beautiful and happy. I have another one of these pots over here. I moved temporarily to show you. It's usually in another room, but they come in different styles. This is nice for my kitchen. And same deal. It's got an insert with a porous bottom, and I can put water in there, and it soaks up to the plant's roots without getting the leaves wet at all. You don't need a special pot like this, though, to water your African violets. Clay pots are perfect. So I have several here. These are actually babies that I propagated long ago from these other two plants, the mamas. But these are all sitting in clay pots. These are one of the few plants that I like to plant directly into clay pots without a plastic liner or anything, because I actually want the water to seep through it. And I keep them, when I water them, I put them in a nice deep tray. This one here is a couple inches, and I just fill it with water, and it soaks up through these pots to the plant roots. I mentioned that I do get them to rebloom. These are dried up blooms that I need to trim away, but I left them here to show you first. And the secret for me to get these to rebloom is to move them under the light. They need bright light. Then when I water them, I'll try to remember to put a couple drops of African violet food into the water that I pour in for them to soak up. But the bright light is what is most necessary for getting them to rebloom. And they're also fun to propagate. I did first time I tried it a while back. I thought nothing was happening. It took forever, but finally they did pop up. Much to my surprise, I really had given up on them, and now look how big they are. Here's an example of how small they were, even weeks after they popped up. And this is another round of propagation that I've been doing, and I did it the same way. I took an old rotisserie chicken container, and I put holes in the bottom for drainage and filled it with potting soil, and then I stuck leaves from the mama plants into here, and I think I might have put rooting hormone on there. I don't remember. That not entirely necessary. And then I covered it with the dome from the rotisserie chicken thing, and that kept the moisture in while the roots could develop. And a long while later, tiny little leaves popped up by the big leaves. I had more too. A couple here didn't take, but these are the two that did. And so I've just let them grow here, the dome off, and been watering it and letting them grow like this. But they are ready at any time now. I could move them up to tiny little clay pots and let them continue growing. So that is the story of African violets here at Shea Ray. See you next week for another plant tale.